Before we begin, I was going to make a video on Long May the Shadows Reflect, and after my first few fights, I had realized that spending 20 to 30 minutes per boss was going to be the death of me. So instead, I decided to save my sanity and run my first randomizer. I set a simple rule. I need to complete this run in one sitting. I had around 6 hours or so to do it. I needed some sleep for work the next day because there was a lot of things going on, and I wanted to achieve at least the Immortal Severance ending. So let's ask the question, can your average player beat a Sekiro randomizer in one sitting? Now, there was nothing crazy added, but I did want key items to show up in important locations, or at least I thought I did. That happened to be a mistake because while key items did show up in important locations, they weren't the key items I needed to progress in certain areas, so they made the run significantly longer. What I learned early on is that the beauty of a randomizer is the chaos. You're also challenged when you're facing bosses in an unknown order, and I think that really tests your abilities. For my first mini boss, I faced General Blazing Bull. Now, the Blazing Bull is a pretty difficult fight on a new save, but here the poor fella got caught up in the environment and ended up being really easy to take down. In fact, I think the first few mini bosses were really easy, and they were generally the ones that I was the most comfortable fighting. Instead of the chained ogre, I found the chained Shigenori, which just happens to be the opening tutorial mid-boss. I cannot tell you how relieved I was to see him instead of that drop-kicking asshole. Even though I was lacking in Gort Seeds, Prayer Beads, and Shinobi tools, I felt like the RNG gods were on my side. I even found a boss remembrance that would help me in my fight with the first major boss, who just happened to be Genichiro Oniwa?
My name is Kyobu Masataka Oniwa!
Now, this fight is generally really easy when you can Makiri counter because it eats away at his posture. But when you can't Makiri counter and you have low health, this fight can be actually really tense. That move is so cheap, man. I hate that move. Why am I so dumb? Every other time I've missed that dodge, this might be the run. What was that tracking, dude?
You're still standing. I'll strike you as many times as it takes.
Dude, how am I still alive? How? You're looking real stupid dancing by yourself. I just want you to know that. That stupid arrow moving again. I get so mad. The Gyobu lines really don't fit him at all. Dude, back to back? Really? Back to back. Okay. That is so much harder without the Makiri counter. It took 6 attempts, and after beating him, he just kind of stood there, assuming a power stance. I assumed he was sad because he could not shed his armor and attack me with his lightning abilities, but whatever, it's a win for me. Now, as my old man brain is wired to go through the motions as if it's a normal run, I decided to meet up with Tengu Ishin and go hunting for some rats. I know that the rewards won't be the same, but I learned quickly that in randomizers you need to be very thorough, otherwise you're not going to find key items, or just items in general that are going to assist you. Hunting rats was tougher than usual because one of the Sunken Valley clan's finest was there, and he was not happy to see me. Now normally, I would be frustrated in these moments because the game is challenging on its own. When you throw in random enemies, which can range from simple torch-wielding dummies to high-damaging monsters, it can feel impossible early on. Luckily, enemies were downscaled, and that was primarily because of the area that I found them in, but the experience that they were providing was as if I was fighting them where they would normally be encountered. This was a massive win because I was gaining levels quickly. I just needed the different skill text to spend my points on, and we would be golden. Imagine my surprise, though, in finding that the skill trees were also randomized. I needed 5 levels total for the Makiri counter, which, as every Sekiro player knows, is a requirement to counter a number of enemies. And this was fine as long as the RNG was still on my side. I then decided to make my way to the Hirata estate, and there I found more good luck, because the mini-bosses here were all simple to take down, and none of them required the Makiri counter or any other ability to beat. While I was able to gather more remembrances, I was still lacking in prayer beads, but that's fine. Eventually things are going to swing my way. Well, at least I hope so. You see, in a randomizer, there lies the possibility of facing a boss that you are not comfortable fighting. I knew that I could complete this run in one sitting if the major bosses fell my way. Meaning, I needed to fight both Allfather and the Demon of Hatred early on so that I did not encounter them late. This was a prevalent thought the entire time I was making my way through the Hirata estate because there was a chance I could encounter them early, and while there would more than likely be a wall, they would not be a run killer early because I could do enough damage and they weren't going to do enough damage subsequently, but I knew that if I experienced them later in the run, that they would absolutely derail me. Now, as I made my way through Hirata estate, I found out that the hidden key was nowhere to be found. So I left and made my way through Ashina Castle. This was probably the best part of the run because the mini-bosses were easy and the experience they ended up dropping was insane. I also found a bunch of prayer beads, thankfully, and things were really starting to look up. I made my way to the top, and just before I got there, I had a brief encounter with the Chained Ogre. Alrighty, who do we got? Which one are you? Oh, you're the easy one. Okay. Why are your arms still tied behind your back? That's weird. Not judging. Again with the kicking. First phase. Easy. Easy. Oh shit, I didn't think that was gonna work. Of course I got grabbed. It always happens when I heal. Why didn't that work? What the fuck? No problem. So with the ogre down, I made my way to the top and expected someone other than Genitro. What I wasn't expecting was the guardian ape. Right off the bat, I do not like this. This is not going to go well for me. Really good damage though, so this might be easier than I expect. Where am I supposed to run to, game? Where am I supposed to run to there? I just need to get to the second phase. This will be fine. Oh, I got so lucky right there. Dude, no shot. No shot he got me. Come on. Gabe. Damn it. Usually the Guardian Ape, when he's not being the absolute crap out of me in Resurrection, is a pretty easy fight. There's a lot of space to work with, and by this time you should be properly leveled. But here on the rooftop, you have minimal space to move, and that is a big body throwing itself at you. The first phase, I'll admit, gave me a few problems. It was hard to dodge his dive and grab, and making any space for myself was challenging. After a few tries, I got past the first phase and breezed right by the second phase, which, for whatever reason, was actually easier because he can't run away from you. The curse scream is a problem if you're cornered, so I made sure to face him in the center to give myself space to run. Now, the Genichiro fight is usually 3 phases, so I actually got excited because maybe here I would fight the Owl Father or the Demon of Hatred and get those 2 out of the way. Instead, it was Lady Butterfly, and this fight was stupid easy. Well, sure, whatever. I was expecting something else, but I will believe, ma'am, if that's what you want. I feel like maybe I should merge this with the Resurrection mod to make this fight a little bit spicier, but nah, I'm good. That took no time at all. Easy win, let's go. Look, I'll take a win where I can get it. So at this point, I really don't have keys to open up anything, meaning the keys for the gun fort, the Harada estate, and I really didn't have anything that would significantly progress the story. I thought that I was pretty thorough up to this point and had honestly just come up empty. The next step for me was Senpo Temple, because the run was moving smoothly, and I think Senpo itself is pretty easy to navigate. I was slowly building up my prosthetic armory, even though I just couldn't find the mechanical barrel, which really sucked because I had a ton of upgrade material and I could have really used new prosthetics. Now, as I was making my way through Senpo, just kind of breezing right through it, I realized that the bugs were also randomized. And when I was making my way to the bridge, I was met with what looked like an army of enemies. Luckily, this isn't Resurrection or Long May the Shadows Reflect, because once an enemy notices the air shifting in its general direction, they will turn towards you and attack. But here, I had time to bolt past and make my way toward what was hopefully another easy mini-boss. Instead of fighting the Armored Warrior, it was one of the Snake Eyes. I'll admit that I'm not good at fighting Snake Eyes, either of them, but my attack power was fairly upgraded to this point and I made short work of this fight. So, I was feeling pretty good. The rest of Senpo was really easy to get through, as long as I navigated past the different groups of enemies. Seeing 6 or 7 of them bunched up in a very small area is pretty hilarious, as it looks like they don't know what to do with themselves, but who am I to judge? I'm playing a randomizer and hoping that I can complete it before fatigue eventually sets in. The next boss area should be the Folding Monkeys, and this fight, if you don't know, can be done in under 60 seconds. It's probably one of the easier boss encounters in the game. In the randomizer though, I got to fight 4 mini-bosses. And of course, one of them had to be one of the 7 Ashina spears. But the other 3 were very easy to handle as long as the trash mob stayed away, so I guess there's balance there. I almost got caught lacking when facing the long-armed centipede, but because their posture is garbage, I just parried until they eventually gave out. My reward for being the 4 mini bosses was Father's Bell Charm, which I will not use until I'm able to find the hidden key for the Hirata estate. From here, though, I should receive the Mortal Blade, and then it'll be smooth sailing to the end. Did I just get a coin purse? You little shit. Well, at this point, the only way I can progress was by heading through the abandoned dungeon and into the Ashina depths. I wonder what mid-boss could wait for me there. Of course, it would be the Armored Warrior. So here's the deal. The notes for the randomizer stated that to beat the Armored Warrior, you could either knock him into a wall or a ledge, and he should fall off and die. Look around the arena. There aren't many options as to where I'm going to kick him off, and as an added question, can you guess the height of his fall? It was like 4 feet. Regardless, the fight took longer than it should have because I had to position him in a way where I could kick him off the ledge. At least this wasn't the Resurrection fight where I was praying hard for his downfall and his son's downfall. It was hilarious though watching him drop into the poison water into what I could only assume was 90 feet into the abyss. R.I.P. Snake Eyes Armored Warrior. So usually in the preceding area, you'll encounter the Guardian Ape and his girlfriend, or a Shichimon warrior. I didn't encounter anything, so the RNG gods must be coming over to my side. Making my way through the hidden forest was really easy, but I will say I got frightened a bit when I learned that instead of the Mist Noble, I would be fighting a Shichimon warrior in a very cramped environment. Luckily, he could only teleport to one area, so the fight ended up being really trivial. At this point, I had around 3 hours left on my run, and I was mentally prepping myself for what lied ahead of me in place of the fake temple monk. Well, shit. Now this looks bad, but it's just the normal owl boss fight. His posture is crap, and this fight, while somewhat lengthy, was actually completed on my first attempt. I will say this about the randomizer, I don't use the spear ever, so I wonder if this will work. This is surprisingly going well. He can Makiri counter that? I fucking learned my lesson then, I guess. Holy shit. Oh shit, I can't heal. Whatever, dude. At least I got my heals back. That's a tad bit unfair, don't you think? There we go. Just die, old man. Holy shit, you took so long. What waited for me inside the wedding cave was not a key item, which, I'm not gonna lie, was pretty deflating. It was instead the Mibu breathing technique, and this would allow me to expand my search for key items. And if I'm being honest, this didn't help much, because it forced me to go deeper into the sunken valley in the hopes that I would get a key item. Now, even though I could not open the gun fort doors that led to the bridge, I did end up finally getting the hidden temple key. It just took me stomping out one of these 7 Ashina spears, which I disrespectfully did. Now, it was time to return to the Hirata estate and see who my opponent was instead of Lady Butterfly. By the time you reach this point in the game, you are more than likely underleveled and underpowered. Not me. I had high attack power and 6 prayer necklaces. Whatever was waiting for me at the bottom was going to catch these hands. Oh. Well, this is going to be quick. At least there's that. Big posture damage. Damn. I want to apologize. I do. Alrighty, who's up next? Lady Genichiro. Well, this should be interesting. I don't know if I should be able to do that there. I feel like that's cheating. GG's, fuckboy. I won't lie when I say I feel bad for beating Emma, but I'll never feel bad for stomping out Lady Genichiro. It just is what it is. Now, even though that fight only yielded a prayer bead, which I'm not complaining about, I was going to have to return to the estates quickly using the Father's Bell's charm. The mini-bosses that stood in my way here were significantly easier than those found in the base game. My only worry was about who was going to be my new opponent instead of Owl Father. Was it the Demon of Hatred, Ishin Ashina, or Ishin the Sword Saint? It was neither. It was just Genichiro in his final phase. I'm not complaining, but now I'm worried because here's the deal. There's only a handful of 3-phase bosses in this game. The Corrupted Monk, Ishin the Sword Saint, and the Demon of Hatred. Now, who knows? Maybe I'll luck out and end up facing one of them where the Garden Ape used to be. Or it'll be Guardian Ishin. I mean, it's not the one I wanted to face. In fact, I think this arena would be perfect for the Divine Dragon or the Demon of Hatred. While Ishin hit hard, he was just not much of a challenge. You were easy in Resurrection, and I'm pretty sure you're easy here, so let's just get this shit over with quickly, please. That is a fast first phase. Holy crap. So how does the fire work in the water? I mean, this shit don't make any sense. Really like this fight. It's just very short. I don't know how to dodge that. Good news is I don't have to learn how to dodge it because you're done. With Ishin down, it was time to return to the castle where I fought Lady Butterfly again. I'm not going to show it because it was just her last phase. I beat her very quickly. And now it was time to head to the Fountainhead Palace and hope that the boss that awaits me is not going to be my roadblock for the next, I don't know, hour and some change. Of course it's Ishin the Sword Saint. Of course it is.
1 hour later.
Do the lightning thing, please. Thank you. Just be consistent with your attacks, please. It's fine. Let me see if I get some space. The smap does not fit this fight. Looks cool, just doesn't fit the fight. Give me a few more of those, please. Just one or two more and we're good. Fucking hate that move, man. It is about time. Holy crap, this took so long. That was a long-ass fight. I am not going to be able to beat this unless I absolutely smoke the Divine Dragon and I walk right to the end. By the time this fight ended, I was pretty much at the end of my run, honestly. The Divine Dragon Arena did not go smoothly. That fight was an absolute nightmare in the randomizer. They throw a number of different enemies at you, and for myself, they threw a lone shadow, and this one was chasing me around half the time, so I had to wait for the dragons to bring up the tree so that I could use sweeping attacks to get to the next phase. This was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare, because enemies would just respawn away from the area, and some would just randomly return, but killing them didn't deplete the boss health bar. I had to really hunt the final enemy down, and once I did, I confronted the Divine Corrupted Monk. This took 2 attempts. I had no healing gourds left on the first try, and he did not take any posture damage. By the time I had downed him, it was down to the final encounter, and by that time I had like 1 or 2 attempts in me. I mean, the Ishin Sword Satan fight took an hour and some change, and then the Corrupted Monk stuff was a really long fight. Like, he just didn't take any posture damage, so it was really frustrating. So I wondered to myself, would the RNG gods help me when it came to the final fight, and who would it be? A Divine Dragon in this small ass arena? This is probably not going to go well. Right you are, commentary Ken. If you're trying to dodge these slashes up close in what is generally a large arena, it's manageable. But up close, you really have to work on your timing, and sometimes it just felt like the moment the slash went down, I was being hit by the after effect, and I was just sitting there going, okay, fine. And I was looking at my posture, I was looking at the healing, and I knew that this was not going to work out if I was going to get into the next phase. I even had a moment where I landed the final blow, and then this happened. Dude, this thing is going fucking nuts. What is happening? Come on. Let me get that final shot in. This fight kind of sucks in a small arena. I'm not going to lie to anybody. What are the chances this rock saves me? I'm going to say none. I am getting absolutely fucking rocked here. This is not going to end well. Oh, how am I still alive? Oh, here we go, here we go. We're going to see the second phase at least. Let's see what you got, let's see what you got. Come on, come on. No, dude, what the fuck? What the fuck? Oh, no. What is that shit? Come on, game. One last attempt before it was time to call it. Could I clutch up, or was I going to be screwed in that second phase? We are not in a great position. 3 heals left. As long as it's not the Demon of Hatred, I can clutch up, I think. Please, please be the owl. Please be the owl. Please be the owl. What the fuck, game? The Demon of fucking Hatred. The one boss that I knew could end my run ended up bodying me before I could react. It was late, I was tired, and I had work in the morning, and I didn't want to continue the run the next day because I believe that randomizers should be different the moment you hop off a game, but that's just me though. I had a really good time with my first randomizer though, and I'm looking forward to future runs to see if I can merge mods. If you made it this far, my next video will be on the easy mode mod to see how quickly I can complete the game. And that's going to do it for this video. If you happen to like the content, please consider like, sharing, and subscribing. I am Ken from Pixelated Thoughts, and I'll talk to you next time.